Hello, hello, and welcome back to Wheel of Games. This is our second game chosen by the wheel, and today we're going to be playing Final Girl. This will be our second game of Final Girl. This time we're going to be playing against the Poltergeist at Creech Manor, built like a house, so it's a very different type of map this time. And the Poltergeist also plays very, very differently from a standard killer, so we're definitely going to have to learn some new rules for this game. One thing that I'm definitely relying on is that I went through like the long sort of rules explanation in the first video, more like just go through everything as we get to it, and in particular focus on what's going to be unique about this particular one. Because unlike Hans the Butcher, you can't fight the Poltergeist. So we're going to go through a lot of the setup I've already done, such as like shuffling all of the decks, except for what's unique about the item deck. This time, there are two very specific item cards that you have to play with. One for Carolyn, the girl that we need to find, so she'll be hidden in the item deck and we have to search for her. And also Mr. Floppy. I think Mr. Floppy is just a unique item that can help you in this scenario. The setup steps. There are two survivors that came with this particular scenario. We've got Alice and Selena, so I wanted to roll the die to determine who we're actually going to be playing with. First roll of this game. Just odds it'll be Alice, evens it'll be Selena. Okay, we've got Selena. And so I can finish the rest of her setup. I've already just randomly picked a Finale and Dark Power for us. Finish those bits of setup. Now I can put the correct amount of health on our player tracker. The Ghost doesn't have health. They work entirely differently. Okay, so we've got our Selena. Selena does not have as many, I suppose, spots on her card. Like, she doesn't have as many survivors before she gets her ultimate power. So Selena has 6 health, the 4 different things that she can get when she rescues a survivor, some movement space, search action, double horror level reduction, or getting 2 extra time. And her special thing is she's a very good searcher. When resolving a search action card, she just gets extra dice for it, and additional victims get 2 extra time after the first. So definitely she is probably geared specifically towards this scenario, given that she is a very good searcher and we need to find hidden people. Most of the rest of this is in place. I shuffled but did not deal out the 10 terror cards. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So those are a mix of the Poltergeist character and the location, Creech Manor. Those 2 decks of cards. The other thing that's special is item deck, but those instructions are in the instruction bits. So I've got the special one for both the Poltergeist as well as Creech Manor. These are in the feature film books, but I discovered it's identical, so I'm just going to read off these. So, the Poltergeist of Creech Manor. How do you fight a poltergeist? Let me ask you something. How does one fight something one cannot see? It's simple. You don't. You get the hell out of there and you don't look back. You don't turn back. You don't do anything but run. If you do, it will ruin you. Mentally, physically, and emotionally. Then it will kill you. Testimony of a former Creech Manor groundskeeper. So people know that this place is haunted. Now the special setup for the Poltergeist. Set up the game as normal with the following changes to the item decks when playing with the Poltergeist. The Carolyn and Mr. Floppy item cards will always be included in the game, but neither will ever start the game face up on an item deck. Create the item decks as follows, or with your own method as long as the previous statement is true. So take 10 of the chosen location's items cards instead of the normal 12, 4 in each of the 3 stacks. Shuffle them, then return the unused item cards to the location box. So you set aside an item card for each item deck that you'll need, then take the remaining item cards, shuffle them together. So you essentially shuffle the 10 cards that aren't those 2 cards, you deal out the one that's going to be face up, and then you shuffle the rest of them together with Carolyn and Mr. Floppy, and you fill out the rest of the decks underneath them. That way, Carolyn and Mr. Floppy will not be on the top of the item decks. So I'll deal those out, and I'll be right back. We're back, so I've randomized and now reveal what's in each of the 3 locations. So the searchable locations are the garage. Close-up view. We've got the garage down on the ground floor. there is the attic, and then over on the east side, there's the closet. This map is quite a bit different from some of the other ones, but we'll go more into that in a second. So the first item that will be on the top is in the garage. We have mysterious pills. They might make me hallucinate, but what hallucination could be worse than this? Discard this during the action phase and either reduce the horror level or recover 2 health. Okay, in the attic, our item is lucky dice. I'd rather be lucky than good. Discard to reroll any or all of your dice. Not bad. I suppose in this map you don't really need weapons. And the third one is the padlock. Okay, padlock. To keep something in or out. Place the padlock token between any 2 rooms. Only you and victims moving with you may move through the padlock. If an enemy attacks while in a room adjacent to the padlock, ignore the attack and remove the padlock token instead. So something that can stop movement. I mean, it's definitely connected to this house, and the house doesn't have to be played against the poltergeist. And there's a token specifically for when you get the padlock. So the padlock is over in the closet. Now, interesting things about this particular map. Instead of being an overhead view of like Camp Happy Trails, this one is a side view of a house. So on this map, the only places that are considered outside for any cards like tarot cards that might care about it, the only outside spaces are the 3 rescue spaces, the green ones that are out at the street. Aside from that, there are only really 2 ways to get into the house, the front door at the foyer. There's also a ladder up on the left side that gets straight up to the washroom on the 3rd floor. There's a lot of very restricted movement in this house, in that there's a lot of like left to right, because you can't freely move up and down the floors of a house without, say, being at a staircase or a ladder or something. So actually, pretty much the ways up or down, you have to sort of follow that. The only way up to the 4th floor is staircase over there, and only a ladder goes up to the attic. But what's interesting about this place is that there are a couple of one-way paths. Like from the room with the creepy TV down to the washroom is a one-way, I guess, a hole in the ceiling, because you can't go back up, you can only go down from right there. Similarly, over on the right side of the house, you've got a tire swing, which is a one-way ticket down to the ground. Apparently, they assume you just can't... well, maybe you're jumping to the rope and you can't jump from the rope to the windows. Something like that. But it's a one-way direction down and out of the house from over there. So definitely different movement mechanics. One other note is that there are 3 spaces that have this blue outline that have a little window symbol. These rooms have windows. Gameplay-wise, it doesn't say anything about we don't have anything that we can do with the windows. Some of the location cards, I imagine the setup, event, or terror cards, might refer to a room with a window. No idea what it means yet. I imagine it's dangerous, but hopefully helpful. Of note, since I'm trying with the really just on the table zoom cam this time, I've put up all of the buyable cards actually on camera view, and I'm not worrying as much about trying to get things to focus. I know, at least with the overhead cam I've got right now, it's not really going to be readable aside from the top level things, so I'll just read things out as we get to them. I've already gone through all of the cards in depth in the other video. We've dealt those out. I need to get Selena's mini out. There we go. We've got Selena. It says it on the bottom, but she's got a hair bun, what looks like a flashlight, and I can't tell what's in her right hand. Kind of looks like a revolver, but you can't shoot a ghost. Poltergeist here. Oh, hey, got a nice focus pretty quick on that one. Who I can only assume is Carolyn that we're trying to find. There we go. Now, continuing on with the special setup. So we know that Carolyn and Mr. Floppy are hidden within those item decks. Now, the special rules for the Poltergeist. The Poltergeist has no health and cannot be attacked, damaged, or killed. Ignore any effects that would damage the Poltergeist. Note that action cards that inflict damage may still be useful against some of the Poltergeist terror cards. So it's not a complete waste to go get them, but I suppose I won't know what they are until they come out. Since the Poltergeist cannot be attacked, you do not win against her in the normal way. Instead, the only way to win against the Poltergeist is to find Carolyn and save her by reaching a door while she is with you. If the Forgetting Something Epic Dark Power card is revealed, in addition to finding and saving Carolyn, you will also have to find her stuffed friend, Mr. Floppy. Carolyn may never be discarded or removed from the game, and any game effect doing so should be ignored. However, Carolyn may get shuffled back into an item deck, which is perfectly normal. Mr. Floppy has an effect that can be used if it is discarded, but cannot be used until the dark power is revealed. Mr. Floppy can never be discarded due to a game effect before the dark power is revealed, or if the Forgetting Something Epic Dark Power is in play. So you can't use Mr. Floppy until you know that he is not required to complete that one Epic Dark Power card. However, I removed the Epic Dark Power cards and the Epic Finale from here. Still not comfortable enough that I feel like I can take on the Epic ones yet. So that's it. We need to find Carolyn and then move to an exit door while she is following us, like the normal Survivor following rules would work, I believe. At least if there's anything special about her, it'll be on her item card. I did not read anything other than the title, like, yep, this is Carolyn, this is Mr. Floppy. I do not know what's on those cards currently. That's it for the Poltergeist rules. Now, Creech Manor. Creech Manor is over 100 years old, with the kind of character and historic charm that people love. It is the kind of home where every step, every new room can call to one's imagination a story from the past. But the stories of Creech Manor are filled with horrifying events, macabre happenings, and supernatural powers beyond human understanding. Go away, for evil reigns within. So special rules, it explains to us how the one-way movement works. Just follow the arrows, basically. Enemies and victims are also subject to these rules. And yeah, it explains window spaces. If a card refers to the ladder, it is specifically referring to the ladder outside, not this sort of, I guess, pull-up ladder that goes to the attic. And yeah, inside versus outside. Great. So at least the house itself is very straightforward. Follow the arrows, and that's what a window in a ladder room is. So now we need to do the setup card. So I did already shuffle these. So our setup card is going to be... Okay, we do start with more victims in here. Our survivor is going to be starting up in the attic, which is a searchable location, so that looks great for us. Our poltergeist is going to be starting in the washroom. And then I'll go ahead and put our victim meeples out and be right back after that. Okay, here's our setup with all of our victims. And even though we can't hurt the poltergeist, she's still going to be doing her own actions, and it looks like she damages just like the normal way. So she'll be moving 2 and attacking for 1. Once we get to the second part on the Bloodlust tracker, then, let's see, second part of the Bloodlust tracker, she'll get her Dark Power. She stays at 2 for a while, then she gets really fast up at the end. Managed to keep Hans very low when we played last time. And 1 damage is all she's going to need to kill victims. So at least from where she's starting over on the side there, she's going to have to move a couple of times to get to the victims. So that's at least something that's comforting. But for us to save victims, we've kind of started at an inopportune location because as we're up in the attic and anywhere we could save people is outside on the ground, that's a bit of a tough way to get there. So really, strategy-wise, I see 2 options. We can try to just start exploring the attic immediately. We know that the lucky dice are in there. Or we could try to, say, get the people out of the that first staircase and just try to run them straight out the front door. There's enough people between like that and then the ballroom down on the first floor that we could save all 4 of the people we would need to fill her victim count, hopefully very fast. And then if she's rolling 2 additional dice on search actions, I think it's very likely that we could burn through the item decks pretty quickly versus just trying to search first. I know turn 1, we start with all of the 0-cost cards instead of any of the, like we won't have search on turn number 1. And we are on a 10-turn clock before the finale hits one way or another. So even though we start in the attic, I think it's a bit of a trap to like try to stay there and search. I really think we need to focus on saving those victims who are on our direct path out, if we possibly can. So that is goal number 1. But before we start turn number 1, the last part of setup, oh, right. Somewhere in here it should say what her starting horror level is. Let's say it in here. It says it on the top part of the card right here. 3. The Poltergeist has no health, can't be attacked. The horror level starts at 3, and we start the game with an event card. So what do we have? Curiosity killed the people. We heard this place is haunted. Place 3 new victims in the foyer and then panic them immediately. So we're already starting with 3 extra people, although the foyer there is right next to the front door. So when it says panic them, we roll a die, and that's where they're going to go for that turn. Yeah, we know what she's going to do. She's going to move and attack until we get to the finale. I can probably leave it there. So, first of those victims panics to number 1. That means they're moving up the stairs. Okay, second victim panics to 5, which takes them out of the house. That's great. That means as soon as I move there, I instantly save them. And the third victim, number 3, they have moved towards the garage. Now there are a lot of people to save down there on that first floor. Whew, gonna be running in and out a few times, but we'll get a ton of extra time bonuses for buying cards. So now we are ready to start our very first turn, which is the action phase. So yep, action phase. That moves your time up and down as you roll the dice, and then buying is afterwards. Great, so I'm going to plan out the turn, and we'll be right back with turn number 1. Plan for turn 1 is to walk, and depending on how many cards I've got left, to also try to focus, to bring the horror level down a little bit. So, first card up is walk. 1 foot in front of the other, nice and slow. There is a bloodthirsty killer after me, but that's no reason to panic. Right? So yeah, success, move 1 space. Double success, move 2 spaces. No success means you would take damage and expend extra time. Let's roll our 2 dice. We are in the central section of the horror track right now. We're fairly close to number 1. She started at 3. I think Hans started at 4, so that gives me a little bit more incentive to try to get down to that level 1 if I possibly can. So our 2 dice. We've got a success, and we can discard 2 cards to get a second success. Now that second one, oof. Honestly, I'd really like to save that for the focus. So if I could move both spaces here by discarding another card, but I know which 2 cards I want to save to discard, because we're not going to be attacking or resting this early in there. So I could move 2 spaces. Let's see. Oh, I have to move over to that way to get down. That sucks. But what I really want to do is focus and use that for like my extra time things. So I'm just going to move the 1 space. I'm going to get those two survivors. And so we have done our walk. That goes into the play area. And now I am going to focus. So the focus card, 1 success, reduce the horror level, but waste some time. Double success, reduce the horror level and get time back. That's what I'm really hoping for the spending the cards on. At the very least, I can definitely put it down, unless I get real bad luck. And no successes is absolutely terrible. There's a chance I won't be able to avoid that. So this is our second card. Okay, think. I know what I have to do. It's scary, but I have to get over that and focus on my next move. Focus. Didn't want this, but I can at least get 1 success by discarding those 2 cards. That's why I was saving them up. Okay, and that gets us the 1 success we need, which allows us to... Oh, right. I didn't move that down. The walk did cost us 1 time, so we were down to 5. And then this cost us 1, but we reduced the horror level down to 2. We discarded those 2 cards. Now what I've got left is a walk and a focus. And I'm going to hold on to those so that I can discard them next turn if I need to. And that's going to end the action phase for our first round. And our budget for the first turn is going to be 4. That's all we've got left over. So what I really, really want to do is move, move, move. So I'm certain that sprint is something we're going to want. No 0 cost cards for me to get this early. So spend 2 on a sprint. And then I can't really search. I think I just want to get 2 sprint cards. Probably only use 1 of them next turn, because I don't have that many cards to spend at the moment. Hopefully that'll work. Double sprint. We need to move, move, move. And that's it for our planning phase. It's going to be quick, so I just didn't wait for it. Now it is time, yes, reset to 6. Return the action cards in the discard to the tableau. Now we're in the killer phase. Resolve the killer action. And as we remember, the killer action basically targets the closest person, moves, and then attacks. So regardless of who she was targeting at this moment, actually, she can get to the person who's waiting outside in only 2 moves because of that ladder. The poltergeist is taking the ladder, it figures. Zoom in on that. So, out the window, over to there. So that was movement of 2, and then attack. So the ghost is the first one to strike. They have killed a victim right off the bat, and they are outside where I am trying to go. Nuts. Those Scooby gang that showed up at the last moment actually made things harder for me. Okay, so the bloodlust tracker goes up by 1. Go back over to this view. So the first thing on there is a hockey mask, and that raises the horror level by 1. So it's back up to 3 again already. Nuts. Okay. And then we draw a terror card. What have we got for this round? It's broken. Uh-oh. Place the broken ladder token covering the ladder on the board. The ladder may no longer be used, and the spaces connected to it are no longer considered adjacent. Well, after the killer got to use it once, the ladder that's outside, this looks more like a rope swing type ladder, and that looks more like a metal ladder. But it specifically says covering the ladder on the board, and double checking when it says the ladder. Specifically referring to the ladder on the outside of the building. Yeah. Okay, so that ladder is now broken, and we cannot use that. And the horror level goes up by 1, so now it's up to 4. And I suppose this is an active terror card. Okay. And after that is the panic phase. A victim was killed, but there are no more victims in that space. Upkeep phase. Nothing else happens. We're back into the second round. Our second action phase comes up. Now we've got those sprints. I think we want to use it. Although if we go to the foyer, Ghost is equal distance from 3 different groups of 2. And the way I would figure it out is I would roll a die as to which of the 3 she goes to, because she goes to the most victims, and there's a tie between all of them. But if I moved the 2 who are with me to the foyer, then the ghost would come to us there and stop. Well, actually, I'm going to have to move down. I suppose I should move towards the window and then jump out that way, because I actually have to go sideways and then back. So getting down to the front door is actually a really big pain. Either way, we're going to start out with a sprint action. Run, where, anywhere. Okay. And dice, 2 dice. I've got cards to burn. Okay. So I can discard 2 cards to bump this up to 3 spaces, which I think I'm 100% willing to do. So I'm discarding my walk and focus. So that spends 1 time action, but we get to move up to 3 spaces. The final girl can bring up to 2 victims with them whenever she moves. So I have to go over by 1. Now I can go down those stairs. And the 3rd space, I think that's another bathroom. I think that's like a rocking chair facing the window. So it's the final girl and 3 victims in that one little room up there that has the window. And we should be able to get at least the first pair of them out next turn. Okay, so I'm holding on to the last card, the last sprint card that was in my hand. That's the only thing left in my hand. That is it for the action phase. This time our budget is 5. We only spent 1 time during that turn. So this time I think I'm going to need to think about it a little bit more, because we're going to have to go straight into the fray with the Poltergeist. Might be worth getting that guard card after on this time. So I'll be right back once I've made my choices. Okay, grabbed all the 0 cost cards. So the 4 that I had used on the very first turn that went back after that buying phase. I'm going to grab guard for when the Poltergeist does come after me, and then distraction. I really want to keep that horror level low. If I can even get into the green, that'd be wonderful. So that gives me a total of 7 cards here. Maximum is 10, and that was 3 and 2. So planning phase is done. It's time for the killer's phase. Now we've got that pesky 3-way tie. So the way I'm going to do this is 1 or a 2, 3 or a 4, 5 or a 6. Okay. Here we go. Got the actual D6 here. Okay, 2. So they're going to the left of the entrance. 1, 2. And they are going to kill another victim. I guess we were very, very lucky that Hans kept doing absolutely nothing on his turns last time. And the bloodlust goes up again, and that means we are revealing the dark power. So we've got an invisible barrier. You may not enter one of the escape spaces with Carolyn, the person, the little girl who we need to rescue. I suppose the primary haunted person. You can't win unless you are at full health. So an extra sort of requirement that the game is putting on us. It's not hurting us until we're ready to win, so I suppose I can be thankful it's not every turn going to hurt us. And they're not powering up yet, but they're getting closer. Okay, now we get our terror card for the turn. And we've got, it's coming. It's coming! So for this one, the actions on the top are target the final girl and perform 3 moves. So we are just, they're coming straight to us because that's 6 spaces. I think they can reach us. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah. So now we are all in that. We are all in that tiny little rocking chair room together. And I can only save up to 2 of them. Okay. Oh, well, I should have read the other part first. Kill 1 victim in each space the killer passes through, including its current and final spaces. So the current space, it killed someone there, and so they killed the ones on the top of the stairs and in the final space. Wow, so this terror card gave us 3 more kills. Ouch. Okay. They're going into the killer's death claimed area. And that means we also go up the bloodlust marker 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. They're already more than halfway up that track. And the horror level increased by 2. Now we're 1 away from extra badness, only being able to roll 1 die. That was a awful card for us. Whew. And, of course, well, I suppose the Poltergeist can stand in the room more easily now, because there's fewer people in it, really in the house all together. After the terror phase, panic phase, oh no! So, any victims who are in a space where the killer has killed someone this turn? Actually, yeah, so that's going to panic the person in this room, as well as both people we were leading, hopefully out of the house. Oh no, okay, let's go back to the house view. I suppose there's just too many people in that room, so we're gonna move us off to the little tracker thing to the side. So, well, that's fine. So we're all in that blue space. Anyway, let's roll the panic for the first person over on the left there. It's on the stairs. They got a 6. Oh, good. They got the one that takes them down to the foyer and away from the ghost. But now we've got, in that little room, 1 to 4 bring them into the house. 5 and 6, they go out the window themselves. Hopefully they go out the window themselves. Well, okay, so the first victim. It would have been a 6, but my rule, if I'm using the die roller, it has to go into the die roller. 3, dang. Okay. So they went in. Second person, 4. They both went in. Nuts. Now I don't need that. They all left. And I'm alone with the killer. Great. Okay, that was the panic phase, upkeep phase, nothing to do there. Now it is time for round 3. The 0-cost cards went... Actually, everything went back into the tableau after the planning phase ends. Okay. So, action time. Well, I really wanted to sprint. Now I guess I'm sprinting back into the house, and the killer is moving 3 spaces each time now. I guess it would be better if I moved 1, 2, 3. Can I get victims to follow me into the space with the killer? Double checking. Okay, it specifically says victims will not follow you into the space with the killer. So I cannot grab them and then jump out the window with them. That won't work. So I need to lead them not just into the house, but far enough away that they are not going to get killed themselves. So I may have to sprint and then walk on the same turn just to get out of here. Getting some bad luck with the cards this time. I can guard myself. I can't guard the victims. Like, I could guard myself. The poltergeist would stay where I am and just attack me, so I could basically stop it from acting for a turn. But all that would really gain me is, like if I really want to use this distraction, which I really, really do. But I guess I'm going to have to save that for another turn. Okay, we are sprinting. So we roll our 2 dice. I've got plenty of cards to burn. Okay, I got a success and potentially a second one. I need to get all the way out. Yeah, I'm just going to spend the 2 cards right now. So weak attack and short rest are also going into the discard. So we spend 1 time, and now we can move up to 3 spaces. So let's grab these 2 people. 1, 2, 3. We are on the stairs with them. Now, if I walk with them, I can hopefully get them all the way out of the building. So that's going to be the next card. We're going to walk with them. If I get the double success result, I can save a couple of people. Okay. Oh, I didn't have that on the camera. So here's our next roll. Well, if I get the 0, it costs me health and more time to move that extra space. Really don't want to have to discard cards just to get the not terrible result, but I have to, and I'm not going to get rid of the distraction, so getting a bit unlucky in this game. Have to spend the guard and the focus, so I have to use those to get that into a success. With 1 success, we spend 1 time and we can move 1 space. So this is at least going to get us out of the poltergeist's range for this turn, because she moves up to 3. Now she can move she can move out the window. These windows are really screwing us over. She can go 1, 2, 3 and get to us, or 1, 2, 3. But because I put everyone on the same space, there's now 3 victims. She's going to go there. Everyone's going to panic again. I guess knowing that, maybe I still want to move them out, but they're being so fickle. Maybe I just want to move 1 person, because I've been basically doing like die rolls. There would be a 50% chance as to whether she comes one way versus the other way. If I move them to the window instead, like if I move them to here, then the ghost is definitely moving up instead of down. Because at least from here, I'm 2 away from leaving, but she can't jump back into the other window. It's dumb, but I don't want the ghost to come directly after me. Yeah, this is not going my way so far, but I need to rescue some victims. I'm trying to rescue just 4 victims, and almost half of them are already dead. Okay, that was my action phase. So now we've got the 4 left. I get the 2 0-cost cards that we had left over. I'm getting a sprint. I'm hoping to sprint these people out of the building, because even 1 success lets you move up to 2 spaces. And with the other 2 left, I could rebuy that guard that got stolen from my hand. I'm not ready to search. Maybe this is a good time to just get the close calls so that I get the reroll and hopefully, rig my luck so it's a little bit better. So that phase ends. Everything that was in the tableau comes back. We got the sprint, we got the guards, and the other 0 cards, so they're back in the item shop. And it's the killer's phase, so now the killer is pumped up. Hans never got this strong. So with 3 movement, now that's only 1 person, so it's not an even, and they're farther away. There's no way to skip straight down, right? Yeah, there's no shortcut to where I am, so the ghost is going to attack the victims that they can reach. So move 3 there, 2 damage. The victims only have 1 health, so this is another instant kill. Oof. That's 1 more power-up. Oh. Yeah, if they get 1 more kill, the horror level is going to go up to red, and I'm going to only be rolling 1 die. I have to do something. I have to use the distraction next turn, or when I've rescued a victim, do the double horror level down ability. We do the terror phase before we do the panic phase. So what's our terror card this turn? The trees are alive! If you are in a room with a window, take a damage. All victims in a room with a window are killed. Oh no. Okay. If at least 1 victim was killed, increase the horror level. Well, that didn't happen because those 3 spaces are not occupied. And then we also resolve an event. I guess I'll put the It's Broken over to the side, because that is still in effect. It can no longer be used for the rest of the game on turn 1. Okay, so what is our new event? More interesting stuff is happening, and the lights are out. Who turned out the lights? What was that? Roll 1 fewer dice, a minimum of 1, when resolving an action card that allows movement. Ignore this effect if you have flashlight or a candle. Yeah, the other one said discard this card, which means that is just ongoing. So you roll fewer dice on movement cards. This is so bad. Well, this game can be tough. Okay, now the victims panic. The victim in the room with the other one that just died. So 3 to 6, they move out of the room. 1 or 2, they stay there. 1 or 2, he just stays there. He panicked in place. I guess that's going to keep the ghost in there. Whew. Upkeep phase. It's not time to start the finale yet. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I haven't managed to search once. I haven't saved anyone yet, and we're so close to the top. Yeah, this does seem like a shorter terror track than the other one. For reference, when you get to the top and it would continue, you just resolve what it says in that top. So you would discard the next terror card, basically bringing the finale 1 step closer, and you take a damage every time a victim dies after 2 more. Yeah, they've now killed 6, and there are 7 left in the building. Whew. But we're on to the next round. Okay, I can take actions. I only get to roll 1 die on my sprint. Oh, man. Well, the sprint is the number 1 thing. If I can save people, I can reduce the horror level. So out of anything that I can do, I need to sprint first. And I only get to roll 1 die thanks to the lights being out. Unless I had a flashlight or candle, but yeah, they're not on the top, and I don't even know if they're in the decks because there's plenty of items for this building besides the ones that got shuffled into those piles. It may be impossible to deal with the lights out. So I only get to roll 1 die. And it was completely blank. I'm going to use Close Call, play after any horror roll to reroll any 1 die. There's no point in spending dice for more. Just put those on the bottom. Okay, reroll. This time I can discard 2 cards to get a success and move us 2 spaces. 2 spaces will get us out of the house. That's all I strictly need right now. And the walk and the focus, I want to use them, but I'm holding out for using the distraction. So I'm going to rely on saving people to get my horror level under control. So, discarded 2 cards, we get 1 success. At the cost of 1 time, we get to move up to 2 spaces. So it would be 3 to go out the front door, but we're going out the window. Now that we are in an exit space, with a couple of victims, we can save any victims in an exit space with us. And that means we have saved 2 victims. So, in terms of what we want to do, I absolutely have to reduce the horror level by 2, but I can move a space, I think the 2 time is what I need. I need better cards right now. So I'm going to spend 1 victim on the horror level down by 2, and the other one in give us 2 units of time, so that's up to 7. The only other things we have in our hand that we can play during this turn, we've got Distraction and Close Call. I need to save Distraction for when I can hopefully get the best result. But yeah, so I'm still just holding on to that. Same thing with Close Call. That's a helper card. It's not a good card by itself. So that's going to end our action phase. Now we go into the planning phase with 7 time to spend. Finally, something decent. We know what the killer's going to do during their phase is raise the horror level and get one more victim down. So yeah, we really need... Well, if we can successfully sprint into the foyer, although the lights out should not affect us if we're outside. You know, there's clearly a full moon out there. There's a full moon out, so we should still be able to move quickly outside, but no. Without that one card, or having the level all the way down to 0, I mean, sprint is still better than a walk. So walk, you need a double success to move up to 2 spaces. Very difficult with 1 die. So we still absolutely have to get that sprint card. Now with what's left, it's an odd number, so I really want to get that improvise. If I'm hoping for a great turn, yeah, improvise is going to be the first thing. I'm going to try to get the distraction, play as many other cards as I can, so really banking on this being a good turn. With that, we've got 2 left. The guard or search. I have to search, it's essential to this game. I'm just going to pick it up now and hope that I can hold on to it until, I'm in a room where I can search. And I'll try not to discard that card. So that finishes our planning phase. Resets to 6. All the other cards go back into the tableau, including the other Close Call. We could not rebuy it yet. That's that. Now it's the killer phase. For the killer's action, they're just going to kill this guy. Bloodlust goes up by 1 more. So now the ghost is moving 4 every time they want to, and the horror level goes up by 1. There are no more horror level increases on the killer's track. No matter how many more victims she kills, they could still come out of the terror deck, though. Yeah, beyond this point, her attack's just going to go up to 3, and then it's just direct damage to us every time she kills another victim after that. Terror deck time. Oof, okay. Everything was flying around. So first thing happens is the terror goes up. It's back up to 6 again already. Place the poltergeist with the closest victim, or in your space if there are no victims. They just teleport and then immediately attack. Great. So the closest victim to where she is, she's up in the closet. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 50% between the foyer and the other one. Yep, I know there's the rule of ambiguity. You can play with infinite evil, choose the worst thing for you, go for comedy. I'm going for random. So odds, it's this one. Evens, it's the one in the foyer. And odds. Okay, that's the better result for us, I think. She teleports there and immediately performs an attack. So, bleh. She has now reached the top of the blood tracker. We already have a full 8 victims killed. Unless I can save 2 more victims, I cannot get to her ultimate ability at all, which was my whole premise at the start of the game. Erg. I mean, with this particular setup, I suppose you could get incredibly lucky, in the sense that if you just started searching, and like the second card was Carolyn, and you just ran out the door, you could win. So I feel like this is a very random, very random scenario, and I'm just getting murdered, so to speak, in terms of these victims. That was the terror phase. She's at the top. She would do 3 damage, which would be half my health with every attack. The only good thing is there's a lot of terror cards left, but boy, are things not working out well for me in this game. So we're into the next action phase. Ooh, this is only, we're starting turn 4 now. Oh no, maybe this is turn 5. There's one other terror card over there. Well, we have a full 9 cards in front of myself. They're just below the side of that. There we go. I scooted all the board up just a little bit. That way the cards that are in my hand that I've got spread out are at least visible. That way you can at least see how many cards I've got, even if it's still not quite readable. So I have 9 cards in my hand. The very first thing I want to do is improvise. That's the one that allows you to treat the 3s and 4s, the ones that have like you have to discard cards, they're just treated as successes. If I get one success, it's just the next card. But if I get both successes, it's the entire turn. So I'm willing to use the close call, whatever I can get, to get this thing into a better roll. Because we're not doing great on the horror level. So improvise. Card number 1. Come on, 2 successes natural. Please. No successes natural. Well, I'm going to have to spend close call and spend the 2 time to reroll all the dice here. Yeah, that's about how this game's been going so far, so we're still resolving the improvise. Come on. Okay, a star and the double. So I'm still going to use the short rest and the weak attack, discard those 2 cards yet again. But now I've got 2 successes, which means for the rest of the action phases, 3s and 4s are just successes. So I should be able to move, maybe save some people. Now, the next thing I want to do while I've got this in hand is I want to use the distraction. That can get me some time back, as well as improve the horror level. Come on, distraction. I got 1 success straight up. I didn't get the other one. So 1 success gives us 1 time, and it reduces the horror level by 1. It's not terrible. I wish I had better for throw. It was played, it goes over there. Important, I can't buy it this turn. Now I've got 4 cards left. The search I'm not planning to do this turn, but I want to hold on to it. I've got a sprint, a walk, and a focus. And I don't need to discard cards anymore for successes this round. This would be a good turn to try to hit all of them, if I possibly can. So I'm going to sprint. If I can, I want to reach... Oh man. If I go into the ballroom, the problem is the victims aren't going to follow me out of the ballroom if the poltergeist is sitting in the foyer. It's just not going to, it won't work. So if I can't move all the way to the ballroom, even if I got the best thing on the sprint, because I only get to roll 1 die on the sprint. So best case, I only can move up to 2 spaces. I can get to the foyer. If I'm lucky again, I can save the 1 person who's in the foyer. Oh, man. Well, that's what my plan has to be. So, sprint. We are sprinting. I only get to roll 1 die. Okay, so 1 die. Okay, straight success. So with 1 success, we can move up to 2 spaces at the cost of a time. I am going straight to the foyer. I'm just going to save this 1 person if I can. The ghost will go to the 2 victims, maybe scare one of them over to me, and maybe I can save the last one. And it's just going to be me against the ghost, and the ghost is going to be kicking my butt. But that's my only plan of action, really. Now we're going to try to walk. We're going to walk this 1 person out of the building, hopefully. And again, I'm limited to just 1 die. Come on. Okay, we got the 2 cards. Thanks to the earlier improvisation, that's a success, which means we get to move 1 space at the cost of 1 more time. Okay, I did quick math to double check what I had been doing all the way earlier in the turn. So I did have to spend 2 time for the close call, which got me from 6 to 4. I used the sprint, which took 1 more time. I just used the walk, so now my time's all the way down to 2. But I did get the 1 success, and that means I can move 1 space, and so I have saved 1 more victim. Take a search action card, or I can just immediately move 1 space. I'm going to move 1 space. That puts me back in the foyer. The killer is going to come to me instead of the victims. Yeah. It's a tough thing to decide on. So now what I've got left is focus. I can reduce the horror level some more if I'm lucky. I'm not going to discard the search. I'm just going to roll the focus and hope that I get... I can get double successes. This is not a movement. So I'm hoping for the double success because that will get me time back. If I don't, then I'm going to only have one time to spend on this next turn, and it's going to suck. But I have to take chances. I'm in a terrible state. And I got nothing. No successes. Which means not only does the horror level not get decreased, but it costs 2 time. I have literally no time. I cannot pick up any cards except for the 0 cost cards. Okay. Well, I mean, that ends my action phase. I can't do any more things here. So I've got a budget of 0 in my action phase. I can get Walk and Focus. That was it, along with the Search I've already had. So that's that. All the other cards come back into the tableau. My 0 cost cards, the Sprint, the Distraction, the Improvise, more 0 cost cards, and the Close Call. I couldn't even buy a Close Call. Oh, not going well. Now it is the killer's phase. So this time, I am the closest to the killer, and they're targeting anybody, so they come to me, they attack, they just automatically hit for 3 damage. Ouch. So now I've only got 3 health left, because they hit the top of the thing, but at least the Bloodlust counter didn't go up, and I saved the victims for 1 turn, but I can't take them out with me. Basically, all I can do is walk into the ballroom, she's going to come in and kill one, and then hopefully the next turn, I can save the last one and get my better power out, but she's going to be dealing 3 damage to me basically every turn. I can't move beyond the 4 spaces that she's dealing damage with. I feel just totally screwed, but I'm going to play it out. That's one of the things about this channel is, even if something feels absolutely hopeless, it's going to make a story, and this is the story of how the Poltergeist absolutely is crushing us. Yep, getting unlucky, but there's still a chance. I could just get really lucky each time, only roll successes from here out. That wasn't even their terror card. What's their terror card gonna be? Oh, it continues to be awful. Okay, the shadows are closing in. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. Otherwise, increase the horror level by 2. We are up at the top of threat level, and now we only get to roll 1 die on anything. At least having reduced movement is not going to do anything because there's a minimum of 1 die. And then after that, targeting victims, perform a movement, and then perform an attack. So she gets to go over there and kill another one anyway. The Bloodlust would go up higher, but wait, it's already there. So we just discard the next terror card without even resolving it, and we just take 1 damage. They just scare us from across the house. So we have done nothing, and we're at 2 health left. She's going to deal 3 damage and maybe kill us with the last one. But she is done with the terror on that one. Oof. So that's it. So now it's the panic phase. At the very least, the victim is going to, if they roll a 3 to 6, the victim is going to come out with us. Maybe we can walk them out. Okay, 5. Good. The victim has run away from the Poltergeist and is coming out to say hello to us. It'd be nice if we could, padlock the ghost out of the attic or something. Anyway, the victim came out to us. Let's just leave that there. Now, upkeep phase. We have no items to rearrange. So that means we're up to round, I guess, 6. And all we've got is walk, focus, and search. Well, I can attempt to walk the victim outside. Almost guaranteed to die unless this is one of the ones that has more health on it. But this is a movement card. I only get to roll... Oh, wait. I only get to roll 1 die anyway. And I got a big fat nothing. So with no successes, I can either waste 2 time or move up to 1 space, take a damage, and waste 2 time anyway. So it's really just take a damage to move an extra space. I mean, either that has health on it or it doesn't. There's really nothing else I can do here. Waste 2 time, and we've moved 1 space. So at the very least, we have saved 4 victims. So we get to take a search action card with that last one, with the last meeple she has saved. And now we get the, when resolving a search action, roll 2 additional dice. Yay! Now that means 3 dice. Oof, okay. So that was the walk card. I mean, I may as well try to focus anyway. If I can reduce the horror level in any way, that gives us more dice on things. I have to go for this. So I only get 1 die. Success. Nope. Nothing. Once again, nothing. And that means I've wasted 2 time for nothing. Still rolling just 1 die. I've got the 2 search card. I couldn't even extremely wastefully discard them to get something. Time for my planning phase. I can pick up all of the 0-cost cards. Yay. And with the 2, I can get a guard or a sprint. But I cannot get a result that would keep me alive with the guard card, because she does 3 damage. I mean, her terror thing, if the terror goes up or any bloodlust happens, she'll just do a damage kill me that way. Even the sprint, like, it's not going to get me far. I'm not sure what I can really do here. I've only got 2. I can't even try to get the distraction. I guess I have to take the guard because I'm going to have to rely on a lot of stuff going my way. So all of my time went to that. My planning phase is done. I mean, I do have 7 cards, I suppose. All the other cards, both of them go back into the tableau. And it's the killer's phase. There's only 1 target. She comes straight to me. Ooh, okay. So she does the damage. Now we get to find out if there's health on this. I get to keep going. Oh, I actually do. Okay. So this is one out of the 9 black tokens for this. There are 3 that have hearts on the other side. So if you get one of those, then you replace it with the white truly final counter, and you add enough more hearts so that you can have that many hearts. But that one is now out of play. So I have come back from essentially death to keep going and try to save Carolyn, even though I haven't managed to save much of anyone. And she can always get to me no matter where I go, and she'll do 3 damage every single time. Yay! But I'm actually still going. This is great. Better than I was expecting. But we have the terror time. Terror of card. Minor dark power, unseen forces. If Carolyn is with you, discard and draw the next terror card. I don't. Your first space moved each action phase is panicked. Discard when you find Carolyn. So not only do I not get to... I can only roll 1 die, but my first space is always going to be in a random direction? Are you kidding me? Hang on. I'll put this on the full size here. Until you find Carolyn, who is the little girl the ghost is really haunting, I have to make my first space moved in a random panicked direction, and I only get 1 die. Even if I get the horror level down, it's still only 1 die. There's nothing I can do about, unless I got one of the items that canceled out lights out. All I can do is move in random directions, and the ghost is hunting me constantly. Oh my goodness, this is just not my game. Wow. Okay. So it didn't kill me. I mean, that's a good thing. And it's not something that's related to health because she doesn't take damage. Maybe maybe some of the other minor dark powers, if you deal damage to the ghost, you can use that to get rid of them, but whew, okay. I suppose the only bright side is there's a good amount of time left until the finale. Still 3 more turns to survive. And panic phase. I don't get panicked. And upkeep, nothing happens. We're into the next action phase. So for me to have the tiniest chance at anything, I have to focus to get the horror level down so that I have the chance to get a double result on guard to not die. Past that, I've got no shot at anything. So I'm going to first try to focus. And I only get 1 die because the horror level is at max. Okay, I can discard 2 cards for this. I suppose I need to hold on to short rest, so I'm going to discard the weak attack And one of my 2 searches, I have to hold on, I have to use the walk to try to move. So I'm discarding those 2. That will allow me to get at least the lowest results, so I waste 1 time, but we're out of the super terrible bad horror level. So the rest of this turn, at least, I'll get to roll 2 dice on anything that's not the move. But, the guard is the most important thing for that. Short rest. If I got the double result on short rest, then I could not be in the position where I would be about to die. So I think I need to try to walk. I mean, what's worse? Moving 1 space, but having nothing happen and the ghost catches up to me immediately and have spent time, or just literally 1 more time so that I can try to get more cards and do more on my next turn. Because I'm just entirely relying on this guard to not die. Moving is almost pointless. Like, I can move 1 space if I'm lucky, and I don't have the cards to discard to make the walk not completely terrible. So I'm just going to stay put right where I am. Planning phase, I've got 5 to spend. Oh wait, the short rest. Do I do the short rest? Like, I can try to improvise sprint. I'm going to have to get the other guards so that maybe I don't die next turn. Oh, short rest. No, holding on to the short rest. Okay, so I have to spend guard, or spend 2 on guard for next turn to hopefully not die. I feel like I need a sprint just so I can move 2 spaces with it, because 1 space is literally random. Like, even if I tried to enter the house right now with that walk, there's a better chance of me moving farther away from the front door than going in. So I sprint and close call, and that's everything I can grab. So that phase is done. Everything else comes back into the tableau. A couple of zeros, and one of the searches is back. Now it's the killer phase. They would have been able to move 4 to reach me, so they're attacking me with 3. I am playing one of my 2 guard cards. So if I get a double result, which is now actually possible, because I can roll 2 dice again. Full result, ignore all damage. If I get just 1, that reduces the damage by 2, which would still allow me to live. So if I get at least 1 result here, I get to keep going. And I do still have the close call, so maybe. Well, I got 1 success and 1 miss. So I reduce the damage by 2, so I only take 1 damage. I'm down to my last hit point yet again, so I have to try to do that short rest on this next turn. But we've still got a terror card. Maybe the terror card will just end me again. Minor dark power, psychic confusion. If Carolyn is with you, discard and draw. This is another thing that affects you until you get Carolyn. Roll 1 fewer dice when resolving a search card. Prior to playing a search card, you may spend 3 time to ignore this penalty. Searching is now terrible. It basically runs exactly counter to my 1 benefit. The only good thing is that this did not kill me or increase horror level. Okay, panic phase, nothing. Upkeep phase, we're not at the finale yet. Whew. So we get to do another action phase. Do I short rest first or do I sprint first? Short rest. Short rest, okay. So I get to roll the 2 dice. Literally nothing. Once again, literally nothing. So, with no results, okay, this isn't even a choice. If I get no results, I recover health, but the horror level goes up, you waste time, and your action phase immediately ends. That would practically kill me. I have to use the close call and spend 2 to fully reroll, I guess? Well, this time I got 1 success and a potential success. Like, what am I going to discard? I can discard the walk. I mean, discarding a search sucks. I had to spend time to get that card. But if I only spend 1, then it's going to take even more time off. I don't have time. So discarding the walk and the search. So I've got a double success, which means I've recovered 2 health. So now at least our guard is likely to keep us alive for 1 more turn, but I have to use a guard every turn, which is going to cost me 2 time every turn just to not die. Okie dokie. Now, okay, so I did short rest. I did at least get something out of that. I need to try to sprint, and I don't have enough cards to discard, and I have to move in a random direction, and I only get 1 die because, yeah. Okay, great. That's basically nothing because I cannot discard anything. So I can lose a health. Either way, I'm losing a health. But I can move a space. Man, I lose a health and waste 2 time either way. Ah. But I can choose to move a space and immediately end my turn. I might as well because I can't do anything else. So this may even backfire more on me. So which direction am I running? Because my first space is always panicked. So where am I going? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, great. So I have moved to a dead end, past the ghost. Well, let's just try to finish this up, I guess. So, ghost. Yeah, that ends my turn. It's planning phase. I only get 2 to spend on things, and I know I'm going to need a guard next turn, and it's not in there. Well, I've got the guard on me. I guess what I'm saying is I need the sprint to try to move into the house if I'm exceedingly lucky. So I spent it on the sprint. It's back up to there. All the other stuff goes back into the tableau. We've got our sprint. Handful of 0 cards. Oh, that's true. I do get all the 0 cards that were in there, so I did get more cards. Close call, search, guard. I mean, I've got cards to discard now. Some walks, some focuses. An attack I can't use. Now it is the ghost's turn. It walks right up to me and punches me in the face for 3. I need to guard to not die. Roll my 2 dice. I'm still just on the edge of being back down to 1 die here. Okay, actually, a legitimate just 2 successes for the first time this game. Great. I ignore all the damage. Woo, 1 free turn of not dying. Now, what's our terror card? There's only 2 left in there. The shadows are closing in. This sounds familiar. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. Great. So it doesn't go up by twice, but this is our last round. I guess we're about to enter the finale. Okay, something unholy happened in the... Roll a die, depending on the result, place the killer in that room. Great. They're teleporting somewhere else because they're going to the attic, closet, or ballroom. I mean, this is just a good terror card, really. Okay, 4. They teleported to the closet. I may actually get a room where I'm not, or a turn where I'm not being attacked. Now, they are going to hit attack anyone in that room, then target, they get to move and then attack again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, they're running straight at me again, but they do not get to double attack me this turn, which is, I suppose, small victories. Now it is panic phase, nothing. Finale time. There are no more terror cards in the deck, so we reveal what's going to be happening for the rest of the game. And it is... Nothing is easy. Oh, the Poltergeist just always teleports to your space and attacks. And all 0 action cards now cost time to get? It was the only thing I had. Okay, so I'm guaranteed to be attacked once every turn for the rest of the game. They're just teleporting straight to me. And now my 0 cost cards cost 1 as well. And of course, I have not searched once yet this game. No problem, no problem. All good. Okay. So this is going to start our next action phase. I think this is round 8. Cool, cool. So I get to attempt to sprint. If I'm exceedingly lucky, I might get in the house. I mean, if I tried to like focus multiple times, like if I get super lucky, I might reduce the horror level by 2 or something. Really, I need to preserve the time so that I can get the guard. I mean, she's not going to do more damage than 3. I can't ever reduce that. If she had not killed all those victims, like anything less, it would only be 2 damage, and I would have so much more survivability here. Okay, well, attacking is absolutely pointless, so I've got 1 card I can burn. I mean, yeah, I pretty much need to sprint. My panic direction will take me towards the house, and then if I'm really lucky, I can, move what direct. I mean, it doesn't even matter where she is. It's just that the garage is the closest and it's also the closest to getting out. Let's see, yeah, the garage has the mysterious pills. I mean, hey, that gives me health. A tiny amount of survivability. So I am sprinting into the house, I hope. I only get 1 die because the lights are out outside as well. And I got 0 once again. So with a 0 on the sprint, you lose 1 health. I mean, it would be funny if the ghost didn't even get to kill me. I just literally tripped and died, but nope. I lose a health and 2 time. And if I want to move a space, my action phase will immediately end. If I choose not to, then I don't even get to randomly move the 1 space towards the house. The only other thing I've got in me is walk, but this is literally, a 2/3 chance that I'm going to randomly walk towards the front door, not even making it in. But I mean, if I don't do that, what am I going to do? Like, focus? Yeah, I'll focus. So I'm not going to even move 1 space, because what's 1 space going to do? It just gives me a better than normal chance of just not even going into the house the next time I move. I'll probably just end up further away again next time. I need multiple movement, or I might as well not move. So I'm not moving. We're going to try to focus. If we're lucky, we can get some time back. So we get to roll the 2 dice. And okay, so we got a success and a partial success on the... So I can discard 2 other cards to make this a critical success, which, I'm just going to discard the weak attack and the focus. So that gives me the horror level down by 1 and 2 extra time back, so I'm back up to 6, which is where I would have been if I had not spent anything. I'm just holding on to a walk. Walk is the last thing on there. Okay, that's going to do it for my turn. So, planning phase. Now, I don't get to simply take the 0-cost cards. I'm not even sure if I want the walk, but I have to pick up the guard, or else I die. Or else I'm guaranteed to die. So that's 2 there. If I need double successes to not die, because now I don't even have the extra point to burn. Great, long rest is 5. I haven't even been able to sniff this top row. Yeah, there's no point in trying to retaliate. I mean, I need the sprints to try, and I need the close calls to improve my chances with getting the guard. Yeah, I could get the short rest again, which, the health gives me a better chance to not die. So that was guard, sprint, short rest, and I've got 1 left. I'll get the close call. So I can't even pick up all of the 0-cost cards anymore, because nothing is easy. Okay, we've got sprint and guard, go back. Now it is the killer's phase. There's no more terror phase. They just teleport straight to us and attack. They're attacking for 3. I'm already on my 2nd life. I need to get a double success on the guard result, or to ignore all damage, or I am simply done. Okay, well, I got 1. I can use close call to reroll the die that wasn't a success. Nope. Okay, I reduced by 2 damage, but I still took a damage. Selena has fallen in the farthest space from anything useful on the board. Oh, wow. This was a thorough beatdown from the game to me. Yeah, this game, I think especially this mission, because so much relies on just finding Carolyn. If Carolyn ended up being in the attic where I started, then that thing that I thought was going to be a trap, I could have just found Carolyn and run straight out, pretty much at the start. But just having all of those kids, even the extra ones that came in, if they hadn't been there, she wouldn't have killed enough to be at the top level of that track. But she ended up being the perfect distance away from them every turn, so she could just automated kill, 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 kill. The terror cards, especially that one where she just managed to get the quadruple movement and kill everyone you moved through on the way, or kill 1 person in each space. Yeah, this card. The it's coming, it's coming. So triple moves of at least 6. Kill someone in each space. I mean, I suppose she could have killed up to 6 people if there was 6 unique spaces that she went through, but still. Whew, so much death. So much death. But yeah, just an extra 3 after she'd killed someone that turn just ratcheted it up so fast that I could not keep up with what our Poltergeist was doing. So, Poltergeist, very difficult. I think that's fun. I think the next time we play Final Girl, I think I'll move to the next, like the next combination in the series, and that way I can show off each of the series 1 sort of scenarios first, and then after that I can start going through the story of like Laurie facing Hans through each of the first 5 locations, and just try to go through that movie. And for that one I might go with I have to beat it to go to the next one. Actually, I've got the season 2 ones as well. Maybe I'll just go through the whole series 1 through 10, and then we'll start trying to go through the movies. But I don't want to just sit and bang my head against the Poltergeist for future episodes. So next time we'll be facing the next combination of killer and location in the series. Even though I got crushed, this was still fun up until the point when I couldn't even choose where I was going to move. I just had no shot anymore, really. But up until that point, this was still fun. And I'm amazed it lasted as long as it did after that. But yeah, that was brutal. Only 1 die and your first movement is randomized. Oh, maybe one. I'm just assuming that's the worst combination I could have gotten. Maybe there's worse in there. Woo! Well, I think that's going to do it for today's. Oh yeah, I had the table lights on for blue. I suppose it didn't really show much because I didn't have it on this perspective very much. Just a little reflection on that. Still, I had the Poltergeist blue theme going. I think that's going to do it for today's game. I hope you enjoyed that horrific beatdown that the Poltergeist laid on me, and hope to see you on the next episode of Wheel of Games. See you then. Bye-bye.